Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, and Julianne Baker. What do these three women have in common? They are all openly queer women who have become successful musicians in the last 15 years or so. For reference, I am defining queer in a reclaimed positive sense as detailed in a 2019 article by Meryl Perlman in Columbia Journalism Review. I am sure that many of you are familiar with some or all of these artists, but I would like to take this opportunity to tell you about some of the women who paved the way so that these women can be safely open about who they are. I am a bisexual music major who has spent time researching this topic, as I am a queer artist myself and would like to know more about the history of queer artists in America. As you can see up here, in the areas highlighted in darker blue, there is a higher population of queer people. And so that means that in those areas, you can see those are the primary areas where music production happens, so there's a higher chance of musicians that you might know being queer. So, these women, by being open about who they were and fighting for equality, changed the way women are viewed today in the American music scene. In the early 20th century, Ma Rainey, known as the mother of the blues, was openly bisexual. Chris Williamson helped found Olivia, a record label run by and for women artists, in 1973. And the Indigo Girls have been fighting for LGBTQ+ and indigenous rights since the 80s through their work. So starting at the earliest one, Ma Rainey was openly bi and did not care about any backlash that she received for her lifestyle. She wrote a lot of music about her identity. For example, this is the Prove It On Me blues, where you can see her wearing a tuxedo and fedora talking up to women in the street, while there's a police officer across the street over there in the corner getting mad at her. So the lyrics to the Prove It On Me blues, which was written in 1928, I got this from Frank A. Salomon's 2013 article in the St. James Encyclopedia of Popular Culture. Wear my clothes just like a fan. Talk to gals just like any old man. 'Cause they say I do it, ain't nobody caught me. Sure got to prove it on me. And if you look at the lyrics to for the Shade and Dry Blues, written in 1924, that I got from the Genius website, going downtown to spread the news, State Street women wearing brogan shoes, which was slang for the time for saying lesbians. She was arrested for running an indecent party and wrote a song about it. This was detailed in writer and publisher Darrell W. Bullock's 2019 book, David Bowie Made Me Gay. She was in a party with the rest of her cast in her show and was engaging in an orgy, and the Chicago police showed up and caught her when she fell down the stairs, and she had to be bailed out of jail, whereupon she wrote the Prove It On Me blues in response to say, I don't care. Moving ahead in history a little bit to the 70s, we find Chris Williamson, who enabled women musicians through founding Olivia and through her own work. Her album Changer and the Changed was very influential. Released in 1975, it sold over 1 million copies from an independent label, which held the record all the way up until the 90s. A quote from her from the book David Bowie Made Me Gay: "Women needed our music where others did not, so they had to have it." Trying to explain why she sold so many records. She worked with groups for women's music. She co-headlined the first National Women's Music Festival. Another quote from her from the same book: "Festivals were a place women could gather together in the summer and listen to their artists make the music they'd come to know and love." Through the publishing company Olivia, she was able to help spread many other women's music and helped to make indie labels popular in a viable way to sell music. Going ahead a little bit more, the Indigo Girls started off in the 80s and continued to the present, along with Chris Williamson, actually. And Scott A. Winkler, in his 2013 Music in American Life, an encyclopedia of the songs, styles, stars, and stories that shaped our culture, states that the Indigo Girls are unapologetic activists for LGBTQ+ rights. In 2013, they fought for trans rights at the Women's Music Festival. They gave a statement on the Indigo Girls website before performing, affirming the validity of trans women, and they donated all their funds from that concert to trans activism and refused to return to the festival until they acknowledged trans women as being valid. They have been openly gay and have brought up gay issues in their songs, for example, in the lyrics to Philosophy of Loss, "And the doors open wide to all straight men and women, but they are not open to me." A quote from Amy Ray, one of the Indigo Girls, in an interview from March 2021 with Jeffrey Masters of Advocate magazine. When you look at those songs, you don't even have to have pronouns to know how gay they are. A quote from my grandfather about them: they're pretty good for a couple of lesbians. And that's about it that I have for the Indigo Girls. So in conclusion, in the last 100 years, many queer women have helped push to make themselves and others to come after them heard. Ma Rainey popularized the blues and made her sexuality a natural part of her work. Chris Williamson helped women find their voice in the male-dominated music industry from the 70s to the present, and the Indigo Girls are still active today, fighting for the rights of the oppressed. So the next time you listen to music by a queer artist, you now know the names of a few people who helped make that music possible today.